Yeah.
case you wanted to talk about, this is your chance.
All right, we're going into that right now.
Yeah, I mean, we ran late because of technical difficulties, so
Okay. Can you hear
yeah,
me good?
we'll wrap up after that. We usually finish up we usually all come together at the end of this and give a shout out to somebody that you're proud of for the week or something good that happened, just to kind of get everybody to leave on a positive note. So if you got somebody you want to give a shout out to, you can give your summation, which you have, and then we'll just go around and thank everybody and do a little final shout out. That'll be a wrap.
All right, yes, sir. Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Today I'll be sharing with you today, through my faith in Jesus, my thoughts on the cause and solution concerning our nation's current state, which as we speak is leading to riots, nationwide turmoil, abuse, and pain in our communities. Before discussing the solution, we must first understand the hidden agenda behind racism. Now I'm going to make a quick statement. I'm tired of my brothers being enslaved and abused. I'm tired of my people being treated like slaves. I am tired of the racism my people face. Now, first, before anyone jumps to any conclusions, let's define what racism is. I'm gonna use this text, Genesis 1:26, which says, God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that lives on the earth. God made man in his image and in his likeness. Quick question. Was this statement in reference to a single man and woman, or was this statement relating to all of the human race? This statement was relating to all the human race. Therefore, all races are to reflect the image of God. Now, keep in mind this, brothers and sisters, that being made in the image of God refers to all the human race, and all the human race is to reflect the image of God. What does the image of God look like? Well, I'm glad you asked, brothers and sisters. I know what God looks like because his word tells us what he looks like. Ezekiel 1:28 says, like the appearance of a rainbow in a cloud on a rainy day, so was the appearance of the brightness all around it. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. The glory of the Lord is as the appearance of a rainbow. Therefore, the image of God is multicolored, because God is as the appearance of a rainbow. So the entire human race is a reflection of God, because the reflection of God is as the appearance of a rainbow. God reflects many colors. One race, many colors. From this, we can conclude that the image of God is a reflection of all the human race together, regardless of race, regardless of color, regardless of nationality, language, and also disregarding any barrier that would potentially separate. To help break down the hidden agenda, let us look at this text. Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made, and he said, has God indeed said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, we may eat the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, you shall not eat of it, nor shall you touch it, lest you die. Then the serpent said to the woman, you will not surely die. Genesis 3:1-4. Quick question. Did the serpent know that the woman would die? Yes, because he hates the woman race. He hates the human race. Now, when you hate a race, what does that make you? A racist. Satan, the first racist ever, is against the human race. He hates every color and every race, thus revealing the true enemy and his hidden agenda behind racism. That racism leads to the extermination or death of all the human race. With this in mind, we can also conclude and determine God's definition of racism, which is anything that harms the human race. Now, brothers and sisters, what we are witnessing today universally is a result of this. Now, the hidden agenda has been revealed. Let us look at the solution. In order to understand the solution, we must understand the purpose within the solution. This, in and of itself, is the solution. Romans 6:16 says, do you not know that to whom you present yourselves to obey, you are that one slave whom you obey, whether of sin leading to death or of obedience leading to righteousness, leading to life? Romans 6:16. Remaining in the context of racism, according to this verse, all the human race is enslaved, regardless of nationality, regardless of color. This isn't necessarily a bad thing if you are mentally a slave of obedience leading to life. Although, if it is the latter, it is not good in the mental state of sin leading to death. And whom we present ourselves to obey reveals our master, and thus revealing our purpose. Whether our master is of sin leading to death or obedience leading to life. Therefore, our purpose is to simply make a daily decision, individually and subjectively choosing whom we will present ourselves to obey, whether death or whether life. Now, I'm going to repeat the statement I made at first, and keep in mind racism's hidden agenda. I am tired of my brothers being enslaved and abused. I am tired of my people being treated like slaves. I am tired of the racism of my people. Now, when I first made this statement, some may have assumed that I was referring to a specific group, but no. My brothers and my sisters consist of all the human race. And within the context of our discussion, all the human race has been enslaved, based on each individual's daily choices of sin leading to the master of death or obedience leading to the master of life. Now this broadens the horizon of slavery as it pertains to racism. Now, instead of targeting one minority or one majority specific group, this relates to all the human race. I am my brother's keeper, regardless of nationality, regardless of race, regardless of color, and regardless of sex. Jesus emphasizes in his word the unity of the human race. Closing out, brothers and sisters. This last text, John 17:21-23 says, that they may be one as you, Father, are in me, and I in you, that they also may be one in us, that the world may believe that you sent me, and the glory which you gave me I have given them, that they may be one just as we are. In the Greek, the word for church is ekklesia, which has no building or physical significance whatsoever. It does not refer to a specific denomination or a specific world organization. It literally refers to a group of people together in unity, working towards psychological, physiological, and spiritual liberation of the human race as a movement. For example, instead of donating money to foundations or organizations who act as the hands and feet that bring about the liberation of the human race, we ourselves have to be the hands and feet of the liberation of the human race. If we want something, we have to do it ourselves, brothers and sisters, with others with the similar mindset, in unity as a community or movement, like the true meaning of ecclesia or church. Social justice has to be done simultaneously with love and true empathy, consisting of an ear that can hear and listen to the struggles of all people of the human race. It also begins in the home with those nearest to us. If we cannot love those whom we know, how will we be able to love someone whom we do not know? At times, this will include coming out of our comfort zone and empathetically listening and meeting the specific needs to bring about these psychological, physiological, and at times financial liberation of the human race. This is a movement of reform and abolitionism, and it is our moral obligation, along with every American, to help eradicate racism from the American landscape by gradually freeing slaves and returning them to their home, mental homes, by exposing the plan of the slave master. There needs to be an uprising against the enemy, against Satan, which is the first racist, which says, no, I will no longer hate my own, which is my neighbor, which is the police officer as well. I will protect my own. I will defend my own. All people, brothers and sisters, are of one human race, reflecting the image of God through love and unity, making the choice daily to live, bringing about the liberation of the human race by abolishing racism and bringing about liberation of all people. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
Very well said. Very profound. Thank you, Nico.
Thank you.
You can join us us for our shout outs? Oh, okay. Hold on. Go we look. There you go. Okay, well, so what we'll do now is we'll go around. I just want to, I'll start. I'm going to throw my shout out to the day to people, for everybody out there. People protesting, the people keeping the peace, the military, the cops, the protesters, everybody, for the people that are trying to keep it safe, and making their voices be heard. I just want to say thank you for that. Showing us that there are things that we still need to work on. We've got a long way to go. We're going to try to get there. And my own personal perspective on that is to be empathetic, get involved in your communities, know your neighbors. We are culturally different. We've got a lot of differences, but the only way to bring that together is to get to know people. Don't judge people. Talk to them. Help. Get out on the weekend and go help at a community garden or do something to involve yourselves in your neighborhoods, and it only strengthens the community, and through that, the relationships get strengthened as well. So I'll just leave it at that, and I'll pass over to Matt. This is the first shout out.
My first shout out is probably gonna go to my girlfriend's brother for graduating high school. But
Awesome.
yeah, I agree with everything that John said.
Melinda's back, so we'll let Dean go first.
Just a shout out to all the first responders who are dealing with all this mess right now.
Awesome. Billy, you got a shout out for anybody?
Just to piggyback off of what you said, it's all the first responders out there, and basically all your neighbors and the community at large. Just get together, learn each other. Everybody comes from a different background, a different culture, and yeah, it's going to be a little uncomfortable, but that's okay. That's what it takes. Get uncomfortable, but keep the respect and learn each other. That's, the main thing behind this is education. And as long as we educate ourselves about each other and how we are, and we learn empathy and self-introspection, that's the way we grow. And, also, to whatever your religious background may be, just like Nico was saying, it's to also have some understanding as far as what are there's some principles behind, even if you're not religious, there's some principles behind that. So if you understand the principles behind it, then you're going to understand that we're all in this together, regardless of, whatever background, religion, or race or melon you have. And that's what it's about. So, shout out to the community, shout out to everybody, the first responders, even those that are even doing the looting. I hope that they can actually, to some degree, mature into a point where we get past this to understand we're all in this together, and we're all going to live or we're going to die by the sword. So,
Amen.
Awesome, thank you, Nico.
I just give a shout out to everyone who's doing the right thing, making the right decisions, and just to say, to notice who the enemy is. It's not our brothers and sisters. It's not the human race. The Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against spiritual darkness of rulers in heavenly places. Like, the enemy is not flesh and blood. If you are flesh and blood, if you are of the human race, whether regardless of race, age, sex, color, nationality, we're all in this together. So shout out to everyone who's doing the right thing and, trying to bring edification to the human race.
Thank you. Well said. And now Melinda's back. She was tending some other things, so welcome back, Melinda. Made it for the end of the show, and we got a shout out from you.
Yeah, I just want to thank, of course, all the first responders for all the hard work that they're doing. I know they're putting in like 25 hours at a time right now, some of them. So thank you so much for all the hard work that you're doing right now. I want to thank all of you, of course, for coming in today. I want to thank Billy for all of your awesome insights and feedback. I appreciate that very much. And Nico, of course, thank you so much for your awesome prayer. I think that was wonderful and very well said. I know you put a lot of effort into that, and I think you hit the nail on the head with that. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
you guys all said everything that needed to be said today, so I think it went very well, and I think we made a lot of very positive points. And what else? There's one other thing I wanted to say, maybe it won't come to me yet. So, how about you?
I gave my shout out. I would like to close, and you can feel free to cut me off if it goes back to you. I seem to ramble on, but we tackled a sensitive subject. We had some technical difficulties, so we didn't maybe get as much perspective. I know Nico didn't really get a chance to chime in other than his prepared prayer statement, but thank you for that anyways. We'll get through this. Got to come together somehow, and like I said in my shout out, it's get involved in your communities. Start small. We build the communities and get to know your neighbors, respect your neighbors. We're all different, but as Nico said, we all have the same goal. Pretty much, we're all here for the same reason. So, that being said, I'd like to thank Dean. I'd like to thank Matt for coming out. Matt had some production problems, but he'll work it out. Thanks, Matt, for working your way through that and not screaming at your mom in front of the camera.
Thank you for that.
Jeannie didn't get a chance to participate, but thank you for being here anyways, Jeannie. She was here in the beginning. Thank you guys from California for zooming in. Feel free, we're here every Sunday. professionalrecovery.organization.com, Professional Recovery Organization. We're on Facebook, subscribe. This was a different show. Again, we have different points of view. We've got different opinions, but ultimately the goal is to help each other. So for that, I thank you and enjoy the nice weather in California. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for having us. God bless. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.